What up, what up, what up? Equinox 3 out now. Go ahead, check that out. It's on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good shit. Check it out. Dave B. Equinox 3 shit. Gonna start it off with some smooth shit. Hey, turn me up. In the middle is where you'll find a nigga. In the mental space, I'm ready to face some conscious issues. No, I meant to be much more than take your order, nigga. So fuck that job. God, my nigga. See, it's a larger picture, but parts of it got blocked. Cause I was rocking with them house. They took they shout out to some losses. Made mistakes, but what it cost me. You can't put a price on time. I'ma get mine every single time. Fake that I'ma be fine. When it's said and done, I'ma say I had some fun. They gon' say he one of one. I'm shooting like his mama's gun. Work like I'm my daddy's son. My sunshine, he bright as fuck. Why they had to wind me up? Knocking them down if they line me up. Y'all ain't never been wise enough. And it shows in your actions. You controlled by distractions. Yeah, I know they get hard, but you chose. That's the process. Play your heart and play your part. It's a new day. That's a start. Stop the exclusive. Be the spark. What up, Ton of Vision? You already know, man. We doing this shit big. You know, sun in Cancer, moon in Gemini. We gonna break it down. It's 0 degrees. So we right there at the very beginning. Music video dropping today too. Life is the same in a sense. Moments we'll never forget. Even when this one expires, still know the fire exists. Granny, I still see you smiling, seeing me work through my shit. Getting better with it. I express the feelings. That's why I'm always gifted. This shit worth more than the riches. I get way more from my vision. Health of my family for real. I get chill, seeing my dream come through for real. I'ma say I had some fun. They gon' say he one of one. I'm shooting like his mama's gun. He bright as fuck. Knocking them down as they lining up. What up, Soul Rebel? Hey, yo. Now I'm free to work on that beat. Now I'm free to work on that beat you sent through. So we're gonna see what's good with that one. Welcome in. Like I said before, what up? First, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You are watching DaveBeyondTV. We are live and direct talking about the sun in Cancer, moon in Gemini. So we gonna break it down, you know what I'm saying? Off the bat, you know what I'm saying? Moon in Gemini, a lot of conversation, you know what I'm saying? It's time to now speak up a little bit, but you know, it's still dealing with Cancer energy. So on one end, this is building us up, getting us prepared for this new moon in Cancer, right? New moon, we know, okay, finally some fresh energy, right? We in the top of the month too. It's July now, so a lot of different things might be, you know, going on in your life that it's time to now reassess and re-examine. You feel me? Off the bat, now we got we have a lot of major shifts actually today. A lot of energies going on. So we had Saturn go retrograde a couple days ago, right? First, then we had today, I believe, Neptune went retrograde. So okay, we're dealing with a generational planet. We already got Pluto retrograde, and we're dealing with Saturn retrograde. So both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are dealing directly with delusions and imaginations, creativity, how far we can expand in something, but also how grounded we could be in the process of building and making that make sense in reality. And I've seen a lot of good explanations of the energy, and a lot of them alluded to the idea of, you know, instead of trying to escape reality through the things that the 12th house or Pisces energy might bring you, like you know, addictions towards certain things, certain substances and stuff like that. instead of escaping reality through your addictions and through your bad habits, create the reality you don't have to escape from. You know what I'm saying? Create a situation for yourself that's more suited to the type of vibrations you want to ride. You know what I'm saying? So on a subconscious level, that speaks to a lot of the things that you might be grappling with. One of the things I think will really help a lot of people is if they look at the root of the things that make them want to escape reality. You know, and then if you look at society as a whole right now, everybody's in a fucked up situation, right? A lot of it, you know, we all got to take accountability, but a lot of it is things that were, you know, we were thrown into as far as just how the world works and us understanding the dynamic. You know what I'm saying? It's not nature. Nature had nothing to do with you needing a job, but we all have a purpose. So how can we align certain things that help us spiritually deal with reality in a way we can construct the one we want to see around us, even though, you know, things weren't necessarily laid out for them to work in your favor. You know what I'm saying? A lot of society shit ain't got nothing to do with what you as a spirit are here for, what you are, you know, what you like, what you don't like. It's like a lot of things in society have nothing to do with you. But we have to make our mark in the world. We have to, you know, we have to take ownership and authority over our space, take our power back in that sense of saying, well, if I came here, then there is something for me to not only create here, to represent my energy so that I can be energy signature and a vessel for others, for God to work through and for others to connect and find themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what we all supposed to do at some point. We supposed to, you know, basically not only, I don't want to say discover. It's more like we come into the realization of our true energy signature, and then we take that and we, you know, it's like graffiti. We spray that all over the world. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say walls, but world came out, and that's really how it is. You express your energy signature all over the world, and you know, you might not feel like it's important, but you have to keep in mind there's always somebody watching. There's always somebody adjacent to you who needed you to say that thing or show them that side of reality and what could be all possibilities, and it sparks something in them. And then now you're doing God's work, because that's really the only way. That's really the only reason God is working through any of us in the first place, to spark that space. And y'all know what I'm talking about, that inexplainable space with no words or anything, but you feel fully in your energy and you like, yo, I don't know what it is, but I'm operating on this higher octave. And that's really what it, you know, what's going on. Shout out Jackie New, you know what I'm saying? So let's break down. Let's get back to what's going on. So again, like I said, we got Neptune going retrograde. So dreams, imaginations, addictions, doubts, certain subconscious patterns we all need to be aware of right now. They're being thrown back into your face, right? On one end of it, you know what I'm saying, a lot of it is you know, you want to look at it as child, you know, some people would say, okay, look at your childhood dreams and passions, and that can help on some degree, because, you know, oftentimes we forget as we grow older and we, you know, get, you know, just engage with life and shit like that, we fall like I was saying before, the way society is, it kind of, I'm not going to blame society on it, but you know, when you got to think about it, so many distractions and things that become a priority that aren't natural to you, you know, or to life. You know, it goes against life to feel like you gotta work to live. You know what I'm saying? It goes against nature and life to feel like you gotta work a job. You know, keep in mind, all these things are man-made. Money is a man-made concept. These accolades and things we try to achieve in society are man-made, they're fabricated. So we have to keep that in the back of our mind. We have to connect back. We have to have some kind of connection to what we dreamed about before we were shown what we should be dreaming about. What did you connect to before you knew, you know what I'm saying, before your concept of money? You know, one thing I think, anybody with children, while they're young and they don't have a concept of, you know, money and when society's rules, maybe ask them what they want to be, right? And kind of record that, keep that in mind. And of course they're gonna say some crazy shit, but pay attention to the things that they say they want to be that are tied to, you know, what they're already naturally into. Like if it's creativity, any form of creativity, like really you know, keep that recorded for them, so that as they grow older, right, because our minds change every day, as they grow older, you can always remind them and keep in the back of your head, because as a parent, you're a guiding light. You know what I'm saying? You don't own the child. The child isn't there to just be your clone and stuff like that. Like previous generations might have expressed themselves as if, like, you know, oh, I own you, you my child, and this, that, you know, and even the rhetoric behind, like, oh, I didn't ask to be here as a child. No, you did. But as a parent, you've been here longer on a physical level, right? Your child might be spiritually, you know, in existence longer, but as a parent, you're still a guiding light in if anything, in the physical world, and you're their first inkling of what a higher connection to something could be. So you have to really keep in mind that, you know, you have to hold their dreams as sacred as you would hold your own, knowing what you know now. You know what I'm saying? And how easy it is to lose our purity, our essence and stuff like that as we grow older. So many different things become, you know, a focus that distracts you from things that, again, at a heart core level, you was meant to hear, you was meant to do. You know what I'm saying? And you might not be able to, you might feel like you don't have as much access to your dreams as you once did. But again, if you do have the you know, the gift of a child and stuff like that, you have somebody else that you can inspire to, you know, reach their fullest potential. So, you know, if you can instill in them and remind them every step of the way of what they once dreamed of, you know, we'll have a lot of stronger connections between, you know, basically when they get older. You know how you, as an adult, you look at like your connection to your inner child and some of the things that you once dreamed about. Depending on your spiritual awareness and what you've been through, that could be diminished. You know what I'm saying? That connection goes through a lot of warfare. That's really what spiritual warfare is. Anything that drags you out of that space, that pure space. And when you first got here and you had ideas and plans and a mission and a purpose, it just wasn't verbally accessible. You know what I'm saying? You had to learn the ways of this world in order to be able to articulate it more, you know. And that's kind of the purpose of even engaging with the world and education and things like that, because the more, you know, you understand the rules and regulations of this world, the better you can articulate what came from a unspoken space, or from your original, you know, space, wherever you came from as a spirit. But my point in all that, you know, going through a Neptune retrograde, we are given a opportunity to jump right back into that. So, you know, with Saturn retrograde too, like I was saying in the previous live, it's a lot of reassessment. On one end, it's the reassessment of reality and the dreams and things that you've been trying to position yourself in, you know, because Saturn deals with positioning, status, but it also deals with reality and what we see as a resource and what we work towards. So when you're reassessing reality and maybe what you're into and involved in, now you could also apply the Neptune retrograde, which is looking at dreams and stuff, and say, well, you know, this is what you're involved in realistically now, but what did you once dream of before all these other societal rules and things came into the fold? And then how can we bring some form of a balance between your responsibilities that you need to take care of and tend to, and the things that you know, that go beyond physical responsibilities, that go beyond this physical world entirely, dreams, imaginations, and where can we create balance so that we don't participate again in a delusion that we once was in? Because that's another, you know, that's the thing about a Neptune retrograde, the benefit of it, you get a moment to step outside of your imagination and step outside of your delusion as well. Saturn there too is giving you that realistic view to really get to the root of, okay, is this working? Not only is it working, what do my decisions restrict me from on the other end? You know, I've been talking about decision making. One of the you know, Saturn is really like the core of decision making, because at the end of the day, you know, even how they relate Saturn to karma and things like that. And the reason why it's much more of an unconscious subconscious process, you know, but it's all rooted in the fact that when we deal with Saturn is the same thing as when I was saying in that decision-making video, how all actions have consequences. That's why Saturn and the sun oppose each other. It's like all actions have a consequence. By choosing this with your actions, attention, and energy, you exclude yourself from the other possibility of what you could have chose. So when it comes down to us in any process in our life of trying to get from point A to point B, you have choices. And they'd be the little choices that you make every day that are the reason why you haven't yet got $1 million, or you haven't yet hit that goal, you haven't yet achieved that thing. And there needs to be an ounce, a good amount of patience in between too, because you have to understand that, hey, if I'm in pursuit of something, it's not just gonna happen in a day. It's the little process in between. And again, all the choices you have to make every day are truly the restrictions and boundaries that we are meant to overcome. Because again, you might not see your choice of doing something in your morning routine as life or death. You might just say, hey man, I'm doing what I'm doing. I could, instead of doing my goal or doing something that's related to my goal or something that can, improve my health. Like for instance, I'll make it simple as an allegory. Shout out to Sweat Sig. You know what I'm saying? What up, dog? So I'll make it simple as far as the allegory goes, right? In the morning, you got a goal that you want to, you want to take better care of your health, right? That's like an overarching general goal. In the morning time, when you first wake up, you're immediately presented with a choice, but you might not think of it as a choice, but it's a very real choice. It's like, okay, do I get up, start my morning routine, get my stretches in and start working out? Because I know this is the only time in my day I can do that. Or do I choose to wake up and maybe take 10 minutes, 30 minutes to sit and scroll on Twitter, Instagram? Again, we all do this, but this is a very real thing that seems small. But if you think about it, choices and decisions, because that 30 minutes that could have been the start of your day on some, motivation shit, on some, getting the blood flowing and you already in your path in a sense. Or are you going to settle for the distraction, which you can still work out after that 30 minutes on that social media site when you first wake up. But by choosing one over the other, by choosing that route, you miss out on a time to set your mind on certain things when you first wake up. So you lost what might not seem important now, but could actually be the difference between a day that goes a lot more in alignment to your truth and more productive and advancing in your path versus a day that is fragmented and maybe slowed up a little bit in the process of it. You might be able to get a certain amount of productivity done, but and again, like a lot of this is like, well, what if and what if? But the thing about it is, if you got a certain intention on your mind, and it's like sometimes we be in these unconscious patterns, we don't realize that. Like, let's fast forward till midday when you're in the middle of your day and you looking back in your day and you said, damn, like my day was so much more productive versus those days where it's like, yeah, I got a couple things done, but I still didn't quite do what I wanted to do because I kept doing these patterns that don't really lead to nothing. Because it's like that 30 minutes in the morning could be the result of, could lead to later on in the day, you choosing to do something else that kind of goes in that other direction of what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? You might have chose to slack up on a certain area of work or choose not to do something because of how you even started your day. Versus if you would have started your day on the other end of just jumping right into what it is you wanted to do, you probably would have been in a different space to make better decisions later on. Because it's more like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like I said, it'd be like a what if thing. Like, well, who's to say that even if I started 30 minutes in the morning on a social media site that my day would go bad? I'm not even here to say that. And that's not really what I want to get into too deeply. But the idea of it is, how they say you got to be the thing you want to see in your life. And sometimes we justify the shortcuts and we justify the things that let us still be I'm gonna say be human in a sense. And again, we all have the right to experience the human, do the human experience thing. But at some point, again, the percentage level is really what matters, because it's equilibrium. Some days you're gonna wake up and it's not that type of day. You know what, I'm up, but I need to just lounge around for a little bit. I want some mindless entertainment. I want some earthly pleasures. I want some, what I'm saying? Hey, that's cool. But it's like percentages. And when you really think about some of the things, like think about you at your lowest, when you're asking for those things that you dream of. and think about how much passion and how much yearning you be having or desire you be having in your heart to, man, if I need to lock in, I need to get this, these so many things I want to experience, you know, that insatiable passion you start to feel, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you be seeing that vision of what it is you're trying to bring it to a reality, you know, don't forget that vibe when you choose to do other things that go against that. You know what I'm saying? Because you, in a lot of ways, you create your own resistance later on down the line. You create your own contradictions. You create your own hypocrisy. And that's the thing, a lot of times, what we don't realize, and this is going to be the third part of my decision-making series, is that part of good decision-making is having your sun and moon aligned, your masculine and feminine aligned, your thoughts and your feelings aligned. And so many times we say certain things, but we do different things that go against it in our actions. We do certain things, but maybe not have the right feeling behind it to support that. So even when you look at the zodiac wheel, the sun and moon, Leo and Cancer, they're right next to each other. So by definition, they're not even opposites. Masculine and feminine energies, you know, not to get too like weird as far as like, you know, just thinking of theories and shit like that, or controversial, whatever you want to call it, but they're not necessarily supposed to be opposites. That masculine feminine energy, that sun and moon, are not meant to be opposites. They're actually partners, because they both oppose the same planet. They both oppose Saturn, and they both represent their own energies, but alone they only represent one side of it. Leo only being masculine, Cancer only being feminine. Sun and moon, though, are a pair. They should kind of be in certain concepts, they should be grouped together as the same damn near. And if you think about it, the sun or the moon being a reflection of the sun, they're the same damn thing for real. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand like that on a level, in order to make decisions, which a lot, like I was saying, I was kind of making it related to Saturn-like things, because when you make decisions, it's like things set in stone, and then you it's like a system at that point. It's like you're on that path now with those decisions. When you're making decisions, if your sun and your moon, in a sense, aren't in alignment, this is how we make a lot of karmic mistakes, karmic mishaps, where things happen out of our control, but there are consequences of what we chose. So again, did we make the right decision? Did we make the bad decision? Well, was my mind and my heart aligned? Was my sun and my moon aligned? Did I step with confidence, but also have the nurturing support and emotional security in what I chose? You know what I'm saying? Did I respond properly to what I felt with an action that actually addressed the issue? You know what I'm saying? And again, the misconception of this is the reason why even, and if you think about it too, these two energies, even if we're talking about interpersonal relationships and things like that, you can see how they also determine that. How, you know, if you want to talk about a relationship, the man and the feminine energy, they need to be partners in alignment, so that when they're making decisions as a family, things can be stable. A stable home for things to be grown in. The seventh house being, you know, Saturn being exalted in the seventh house. And what we see a lot is the opposite of that. We see a lot of sun and moon energies, or men and women getting into relationships, be trying to do first house things. So extremely selfish thing. And remember, the first house is where the sun is exalted, and then you got the second house where the moon is exalted. So that's a lot of how things end up being kind of broken down. But I don't want to get too deep into that at the moment, because you know, that kind of deserves its own video in and of itself. Because but just to kind of finish the point, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, the point's finished, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a little bit more. I'll say it because it's on my mind. But the, you know, sun being exalted as far as in the first house, right? If we think about how a man kind of deals with that kind of situation, as far as like what leads to a divorce, or what leads to a separation of energies, or going against what's being built in that relationship space where seventh house Saturn is exalted, you have the man who go more so into himself, and more so, you know, whether that's seeking its, you know, his own sanctuary pleasures or peace, or whatever you want to call it. His separation looks more self-indulgent, as far as the woman's looking more, you know, safety and security based, where you know how men end up cheating versus how women cheat. Men cheat because they're alone. Women cheat because they feel insecure, you know, not insecure, but you feel a lack of security, a lack of stability, a lack of resources, and that becomes the thing you cling on to during those moments in which a relationship is crumbling. You know what I'm saying? So the money, the woman is looking more so to what's going to keep me secure, whether that's jumping with a new man or jumping into her bag and doing whatever she got to do. The man is going to completely indulge into himself. You know what I'm saying? You said, what's the channel about? The channel is about spirituality, also showcasing multifaceted talents and gifts and creativity and things like that. So you know, I like to say that this channel is about spiritual empowerment. We talk about astrology from time to time to use it as a tool for, you know, spiritual empowerment, spiritual development, and psychology as well, thinking better about ourselves and the world around us so that we can be a vessel to, you know, impact the world in a positive way. Now getting into back into the astrology aspects of things. So like you know, right now we're dealing with appreciate you, shout out to universe. So talking about you know, the moon being in Gemini, so a lot of conversations going on. We need to be, well, I'm not gonna say what we need to be yet, but we're in a space where we need to take care of our minds at the moment. And you know, looking like through the Cancer lens, it'll look like communicating what we feel. Now keep in mind, there's two sides to this. There's communicating what you feel that's coming from a true heart-to-heart space. So a lot of good heart-to-hearts can happen right now, right? We're able to open ourselves up and communicate about what's going on inside that people might not understand or recognize. You know what I'm saying? He said, Blazing Melly, he said the channel is about Dave being goated. I appreciate you, bro. Real shit, man. We all goats, and that's why it be goats all up in here. He said like no 12. I don't know what you mean by that, but you know, like I was saying, though, a lot of amazing heart-to-hearts can happen at this moment where, you know, you all of a sudden now have the words and the language to speak what's on your heart. But then on the other end, the lower octaves of this energy, in which you might see a lot of people do instead of the other, in what I just talked about, is people speaking from places of insecurity, from being extremely uncomfortable. So you can get a lot of conversations that go left because a person isn't willing to be open and vulnerable about what they feel. You said, are you live every day? Not every day, not just yet. You know what I'm saying? I got other obligations, and YouTube is not cutting a big enough check to be doing that with all my time. So at the moment, you know, it's like every 2 days. I like to keep in sync with the moon, but you know, sometimes it's a little, you know, it'd be like every other day. You know, I'm getting better with the consistency though. But at the very least, I want to at least be posting every day, you know, even though that's a goal I'm still trying to reach. But for the most part, when we talk about like I said, so on the other side of things, people could be speaking from a place of deep insecurity and fear. And that's kind of one of the key things right now, because what's going on in everybody's subconscious space is those retrogrades I was talking about with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. So a lot of people might be feeling uncomfortable or frustrated by choices they made that went against their dreams and went against what they thought was real. Or maybe they chose and sacrificed their dreams and their true goals for things that the world told them was important, or people in their life that are, you know, that aren't maybe, you know, that are. And you got to keep in mind, like when people in your, like you have a parent who pressures you to do something that, you know, as a spirit goes against what your path and mission is. The first instinct is to blame them and be like, man, you know, start cussing at them and stuff like that. But you got to keep in mind too, they on their own path too. So not everything that they do or suggest comes from a place of malice or ill intent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, parents, they are your guiding light at first, but you know, depending on how their light was treated and whether or not it was nourished or whether it was diminished will determine how they give light to you. So sometimes we have to keep in mind, and it's kind of like, you know, being able to be a somewhat of a backseat driver, you know what I'm saying? Or how when you are driving, You have to keep, you have to drive for yourself and others. You have to keep that in mind too, especially if you're a, older spirit than they might be. They're still learning the ropes, and they need you. They had you because they need you to teach them and show them a new way. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a lot of our purposes too, especially this millennial age, and kind of when we start talking about what Gen X had to go through versus what we were able to, you know what I'm saying, versus what we've been able to do. So what up, Carrie? Said, how long you been on? Am I late? No, you never late. You know what I'm saying? It's about 30 minutes in. So, you getting in right where the good stuff is. But, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know it's the whole live is good. You know what I'm saying? The whole live be fine. But so when we talk about this energy right now, or getting back to this energy right now, right? A lot of what is coming out of people's mouth, it might be part of that frustration that came from them being in a delusion, and maybe a lot of people still in denial because this energy just went retrograde. So it's going to take a few, and Saturn is going to be retrograde till November. Neptune is going to be retrograde into December. So you got to think about, these moments right now, this summertime. A lot of these themes are going to be carried on, and things that we are constantly assessing till the, near Capricorn season, I'll say, because that's not really the end of the year, but in the winter time. So what's going on in the summertime? We're going to go through the summertime assessing things to be prepared for the winter time. So there's going to be things that, a lot of these things that we're trying to assess are going to be things that we are looking to transform and basically put death to by the time we get to the December energies, November energies and stuff like that, which is November is like Scorpio into Sagittarius, and December is Sagittarius into Capricorn. So y'all know that's like the so Scorpio and Sagittarius is going to be like the fall time, the end of the fall time. And then Capricorn is going to be the beginning of the winter. So at the top of the winter, you can kind of, okay, Neptune and Saturn are going to both be direct. So at the top of the winter, it's going to be kind of like stepping into this new energy with what you assess during this time. But, that's the whole point of the spring and summertime. Spring and summertime is all about getting things out. We have to express ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like you're not suited for it, you're not prepared for it, we have to treat it like, if I don't express it, it won't be in the world and it won't exist. So, and keep that in mind too, even with negativity in you, when you feel certain negative energies and you're dealing with something, right? You have to keep that in mind. What stays in me is going to literally eat me alive. So I have to get it out. But just because you have to get it out doesn't mean it's like transmute that shit. If it's negative, you don't have to put negativity out in the world. You can transmute it, unless, and there'd be times where, it calls for you to speak in that maybe what is determined as a negative tone. But, hey, fire with fire at times. Sometimes you got to show yourself in that light to be a reminder for everybody else. And, set your own boundaries and things like that. And boundaries is also one of those Saturn retrograde themes as well. It's kind of like with both of these retrogrades, Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, it's almost like, how are you going to take more control into your, how are you going to take more authority over your life and the direction of it? Are you bounded by other people's rules and regulations and restrictions and what they told you? Or are you here to, are you going to be yourself and be a representation of what you are doing? He said, is that a thing like God of universe? So when we talk about God is like religious doctrine and things like that depict God in a way that isn't really true to form. And a lot of times religion is kind of directing you in a certain space. It's like a certain ways of thinking, of seeing the world, worldviews, basically. When I'm speaking about God, we talking about God as far as a concept of all possibilities, you know what I'm saying? And leaving it as that, no thing. So it's not getting into, and then when we talk about the universe is somewhat like that same thing. Not to get too, too crazy and stuff like that, but just keeping it simple so that we can all digest what we going in, what we talking about. Got to make it simple first before we get deep into it. But yeah, so this energy, like I said, assessing a lot of things. Because remember, that Pisces energy, that's all the subconscious space. You know, that's that ethereal realm and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of things we need to really reflect on in order to determine whether or not, you know, what we've been giving our energy and attention to is worthy of our attention. You know, is that really what we need to be investing our time and energy into, or do we need to start to you know, develop new concepts that we can start to, you know, springboard when the time comes for all these energies to go direct? You know, do we need to change courses? It might be certain things that you already in the pattern of doing that, you know, again, very subtle changes that come from a place of you understanding like, okay, instead of escaping through this thing that I've been using as a crutch, maybe I need to choose to do something else that can build up the strength in the area I felt weak in previously. You know, and the beautiful thing about this energy is that a lot of doors can unlock that show you like, oh wait, that dream that I once had that, you know, at the time I tried to do, it didn't work out, is actually feasible if I just adjust these different things in my life to make it more suited to do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to kind of, you know, this is a lot of taking your power back energies. And we also got Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, and y'all know kind of about that energy, where Pluto is playing out as an overarching transformation that we need to make regarding our position, you know, and really it's like regarding our, because it's dealing with Aquarius and Capricorn energies. So it's like regarding the way we approach reality and regarding our positioning and how we obtain that position. Because that's the thing about Capricorn. Capricorn is about obtaining a position. You know what I'm saying? It's the cardinal energy of the earth. Maintaining the position could be like more like Taurus. And Virgo plays out as the work needed to assist and manage the position. You know what I'm saying? The actual management and the day-to-day operations of that position is Virgo energy. Whereas Taurus is the maintaining, the maintenance of it, the stability, the sturdiness of it, how reliable it can be, how consistent it is. But Capricorn, which often, you know, in my opinion, Capricorn is one of those signs that gets overlooked and misunderstood. Capricorn being an initiator of Earth, it's about obtaining it. How can we obtain it, and how can we create a system for it to run in kind of like, if you think about business, a lot of business is about scale. How big can we scale this, and how small can we scale this? And so, you know, Capricorn deals with that constant, you know, systems. You can't scale a business without a proper system, and we assess the system to see if it's something that can lead us to a better scale, or is it something that is creating an operational issue? And operational issue is like the distribution of resources in a certain area. So when we look at Capricorn energy in our life, it's also about the distribution of resources. And going back to like even relating Saturn and Capricorn energies to time, if we think about time, what is time? People would tell you time is an illusion. Not necessarily. Time is a resource. Time is a something we invest in, or we invest with, I should say, because it's a tool. So it's like time, what we spend time on, that's us using that energy. You know what I'm saying? What we spend time on, we can't get that time back. So you have to keep, that's like how energy usage is. So if we spend a certain amount of time on something, we in turn sacrifice every other thing we could have been doing with that time. Goes back to what I was saying through that allegory of waking up in the morning and jumping right into your workout versus jumping up, you know, getting up in the morning, your workout or your meditation, versus getting up in the morning and investing, spending time on scrolling on social media. One of those decisions, by making that decision to get up and get into your meditation, you sacrificed the artificial dopamine hit you got from scrolling on, you know, TikTok or whatever. Again, that's time well spent. But let's say, hey, you woke up on a day where you like, I want to spend my time on bullshit today because I need to relax, or I want to have fun, or I want to, whatever that is. Then you could very well spend your time on that 30 minutes of scrolling, and that actually works for you. You know what I'm saying? That works for you. Some days it be like that. And that's why, like, I like to keep a balanced view of it, because nobody is wrong for enjoying the pleasures of the world or enjoying different things that we into. But it's about, you know, when you sit back though, and your intention for that day, did you, you know, your goals in life, how you spend your lifetime, you got to keep that in mind. So when you on your deathbed, damn, you can say I put a bigger percentage into the things I truly wanted to experience versus the artificial things that made me think I was doing something, but at the end of it all, it left me empty. You feel me? And that's how we live better lives in general. And the better we live our lives, the better we influence the lives around us. Because, you know, people be acting like assholes, and it's like, man, what's it's like people be in their energy not realizing, like, damn, you only like that because you upset. You making everybody else's day worse because your life is fucked up. That's not cool. Shout out to, what is that, Faster? I don't even know how to read your name. I don't say Fast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. You said Big Facts, man. Shout out to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Said Fast. Yeah. I ain't gonna embarrass myself, man. Shout out to you. But real shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not about, and again, that when we think about religion to sit here and have a whole discourse about that topic, making you feel like shit when they go home and beat their wife. It's crazy. It's like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a whole moral discussion. You said fast car. Okay, got you. That's what's up. But real shit. Creative spelling though. That's what's up. That's dope. But getting back to some of these energies going on. So when we think about so right now, you know, those are the things on, if people haven't realized it, that's kind of what's going on in everybody's life at the moment. They're literally reassessing what they've been investing their time on, and whether or not it looks like advancement toward their dream, or have they invested themselves into things that they're now realizing, damn, that didn't help me with my goals at all. My true goals, my goals that go beyond this realm at times. You know what I'm saying? These have nothing to do with my dreams. And so everybody is basically, you said AC, yeah, y'all can hear it or something? AC is on, yeah. Let me turn it down a little bit. Yeah. Or matter of fact, it's kind of a nice day. Nah, it's big ass bugs and shit. He said, I hear bubbling noise. Yeah, let me do like that. Let me see if that changes something. Phone kind of hot. Let me see if I put it right here. This might help. It says champagne day. I feel you. Let me see if I can get it better. But real shit. Let's see. I'm not trying to get it too hot. Does that help? Hopefully that helps. But for the most part, what up, Joel? So for the most part, you know what I'm saying, that's what's going on in people's life, you know what I'm saying, right now. So if you see people around you acting weird, you know, try not to judge them too harshly. You know, they might actually be trying to reflect on some of the more, you know, abstract and deeper aspects of their life that is kind of bubbling in their subconscious. And see, you know, Neptune is trying to make its way into Aries, but it wants to do one more check to make sure that the dreams that it's choosing to fight for and bring into life are worth it and are actually are accurate. So that's what this time is all about. It's like, are your dreams actually, you know, is that really what you're trying to achieve? Is that really what you're striving to expand in? Is that really the reality you want around you? Or are you still do you still have layers of things that aren't true? You know what I'm saying? Do you still have you know, layers that need to be shed before we go into the next phase? Because that's what 2025, that's what that's all about. You know what I'm saying? He said having a little cigarette break. Hey, what up? You know what I'm saying? This ain't no cigarette. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel you. Real shit. But when you think about, you know, that's what this time is. 2025 though is gonna be a lot of everybody basically gonna have to claim their position. And that's what community is. That's why I keep saying community is gonna be so key. Because it's like, there's going to be certain things probably regarding our, you know, rights and stuff. And I got shout out to the Peace Dealer, because he had a video talking about you know, civil war. Now, you know, when I say things like that, I'm not fear mongering or saying these things to get people worried or anything, because, you know, honestly, there's always a side to it in which, you know, it's all a game. Like the way that the America is ran, everything is fabricated. You know, everything is orchestrated. It's all about a narrative. Things don't happen without a narrative, you know, or I'll say this: things happen, but immediately after they try to hone in on a narrative, and they use the momentum of whatever the reaction is towards what happened as their source to shift energy. And all they're trying to do is shift energy to remain in control of it. So you have to understand that when certain things are going on, you have to do the same thing for you in your life in order for your life to not become chaos and pointless. You know what I'm saying? He said Sylvester is Forrest. Yeah. But real shit, you have to do that to make sure that you're not letting your life go all over the place. Because like I was saying about the news is all trying to get you on some kind of sensation that makes you go, you know, basically run away from what your spirit is able to assess, and you just take the narrative as it's given and run with that. And if it makes you feel this way, makes you feel that way, they don't care about how you feel at the end of it. They just want you to feel something. And one of the, you know, best, the most powerful energies to take advantage of is fear, because fear leads to you having adrenaline, and that certain adrenaline, you know, y'all know when you got adrenaline, you could pick up a car. You know what I'm saying? When you have adrenaline, you could run for miles and shit like that, versus you at a calm state. So if I were to make you think about something when you're in a calm state of mind, your mind being on it is not going to give it too much. It's not going to give it a lot of force or importance. Versus if I make you afraid of something and then I put your mind on a concept, your mind is going to race in that direction with a great amount of energy, and it's going to give, on an esoteric level, it's going to give me a rush or a boost of energy. I done drained your energy. So you got to think, anytime somebody trying to get, you know, even fear mongers, they do this, and they might not even realize they're doing this on an esoteric level, but it becomes addictive, because they be like, oh, all my views going up, all my this going up, and they don't realize it's just because of the sensationalism of what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I always side-eye things that are trying to get you worried or, you know, in a panic mode. He said that's why ginger and potatoes are so good for your body. Roots, vegetables, ginseng. Oh yeah, I know about ginseng. Real shit. Real information. But you know, when we talk about these energies right now, so 2025 being a big time for, you know, it's gonna be like number 9 energy, numerology wise. So that number 9 energy is all about transformation, death, either ascension or descension, based upon your awareness of that space and whether or not you have the right resources to manage that transition. And the thing about it is, the resource we have to focus on is ourselves and what our minds are on and what we are doing with our energy. And the majority of the world is still distracted in things that, you know, again, things like the election and things like that really just keep their world running. You know, they're going to be subjected to whatever rules and regulations come about based upon the current, because what's going on, I think what they're trying to use against us is you know, everybody's in an uncomfortable state when they think about the country they in. You know what I'm saying? You look at America and how it's being ran, and it's like nobody's making sense. There's no viable options for, you know, presidency and stuff like that. So the common person who's believed in these systems and who have been raised under these systems for so long, they start to become, you know, basically weary and more frantic. And so they're more vulnerable to be led in any direction. But what the government's having a hard time doing is figuring out what to put in place that will get the majority of the people kind of back on that same page. You know, what direction to take the country for everyone to kind of be on that page. But a lot of the energies going on right now, again, these are like the Civil War energies. So they already probably considering that there needs to be some kind of war period or something that we can direct energy towards to point outside of this country to then rally everybody under the same kind of regime and shit like that to keep the business running. So that's what they're trying to do. So a lot of things involving AI, they can get a grip on. Things involving just even living standards, how people are interacting with each other. They're considering what they need to do as a narrative to get people on one wave, to then take things towards a world that's going to be just going to be able to control and restrict a lot of those channels without too much interference. So it's like they're looking at things from that kind of angle. So you got to understand, when it comes to 2025, you know, the thing that's going to create or make that more difficult to do, or make it to where you don't have to necessarily be as open and vulnerable for something like that happening and taking the energy any which way. You take your power back by connecting with the like-minded individuals in your, you know, in your vicinity, or that are into the same things you're into, to create community. And with community, you can create, again, a pocket of energy in which y'all can kind of replenish each other. Y'all can create a system amongst y'all that is strong enough to stand on its own. So what'll happen is they won't be able to necessarily affect you. And by affect, I just mean make you or put you in a position where you're entirely reliant on whatever rules and regulations are being passed as laws at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you think about, you know, the whole purpose of the time period right now, we're trying to get clear on a one-on-one level so that we can properly engage with the community we supposed to be a part of, so that more, because it's like, if you think about it, right, it's what they trying to do to keep the world they made running versus what's already happening. That's inevitable. What's inevitable is communities happening, communities of individuals being able to connect with each other and then building from there. What they're trying to do, though, is they're trying to make it look like how they want it to look. So, and whatever that sounds like, it's going to look like a control. You know, y'all know how they get down. Control. They're going to get it to where things are categorized, things are separated, and it keeps people in the same issues that they're dealing with now. We think about all the issues that we worry about or we deal with, and it goes to show, it's like, damn, why do we keep having the same issue when it comes to poverty, when it comes to you know, people's ability to get certain living conditions, that it's like, damn, don't we all deserve to have something at least, you know? And don't we deserve to be able to enjoy life and not have to, you know, basically kill ourselves just to get enough money to pay the rent to, you know, last to the end of the month? Like, there's got, you know what I'm saying, all these things that we still dealing with, that we trying to figure out, why hasn't there been a better system or way of going about this? You know what I'm saying? So when it go, you know, this time period has some powerful implications, because it's all about you diving within yourself to get a lot of these subconscious processes correct, so that not only can you connect with the right individuals to make a community with, you can be a key player or member, you could be a key, you know, what is it, contributor to that community in a way that is impactful and it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has a role to play. So don't think just because you got certain things and you don't have, you know, you might feel like, oh, I don't have this, or I don't do this, I don't make anything creative, I just listen. But you know, the listener just important as the person making the music. The music has to be heard and recited. There has to be a reason for enough people who like the music to gather for there to be a concert. A concert, again, y'all know the energies that can be passed down through something like that. It's the same thing as a ritual. You know what I'm saying? So even, you know, again, and it goes to the world and what we see celebrities do. You know, celebrities hold concerts, but again, think about how that energy is being transmuted or utilized. A lot of it maybe not in the favor of the people. A lot of it could be in the favor of, you know what I'm saying, what they want to do with it. That's how these different events happen. Even the election shit, they got so many people tuned in and they don't even care what's on the TV screen. That shit was not about nothing productive. It was two people talking shit about each other. That's what the elections have become. You know what I'm saying? Basically entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we first could all see it back when Hillary ran and shit like that. Y'all remember that lot? That was the first election where it was way more about comedy than it was about anything real. You know, anything that looked like us actually coming together to build a nation that works and stuff like that, that operates at a high octave and shit like that, and actually, you know, all that other stuff, you know. And right now we see the slowing down of accessibility to certain resources. We see different issues pop up. It's like, damn, like, to all the way down to, like, I'm seeing some states, what, they made being homeless illegal. You know what I'm saying? And you think of that as a concept not even making sense. You know what I'm saying? And again, the answer is, it's a true fact that if these issues were really issues and meant to be solved, they would be solved. Because think about you. When you have a problem, what do? You either run away from it and then try to escape it and ignore it, right? That is a real reality. But 9 times out of 10, you want to alleviate that problem, and you take it seriously and you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? A responsible spirit or an adult is going to solve a problem, and they wouldn't dare express themselves in a way that looks foolish, stupid, or incapable around other individuals. So why does it seem like everything that the America see as a problem, they address it like a baby? They address it like a person who's ignorant. They want to be seen as ignorant and incompetent, because that keeps your hands clean. That keeps you, you know, and again, the only reason you would be trying to do that is some form of manipulation to get you to think, I think this way, so that I can go behind your back and do this. That's what manipulation is. Yeah, I'm gonna let you think I think this way so that I can have enough leeway esoterically to turn around and do this without any blood on my hands. Yeah, let me make you think I'm an idiot so that you can treat me like an idiot, and then I can finesse you on the back end. And that's how they play their game. And the problem is now is, like, we see through that game. You know what I'm saying? Enough of us see through that game to where they can't play it the same way they've been playing it for years and years. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about this, it's like, okay, boom. Yeah, so, you know, that's just speaking on what's going on that level. But what we're dealing with on a you know, on a back to the astrology and shit like that in your everyday life, that's why this time period is important, because there's certain things you've been led to believe and certain things you've been led to use your creativity for and your imagination for that are strictly delusional. And again, there's good delusion out there. Like, again, you thought your dream, you was trying to build something that was so out of this realm that it inspired you to rise, you know, to actually pursue it. That's admirable. That's a good way to use your delusion. But, and so on that level, now is the time where you're going to get better information and insight if you reflect enough. You know what I'm saying? If you are reflective and you actually take the time to pay attention to what's going on in your life, you'll have better ideas, tools to be able to make that make sense in the world and actually bring that to life. So that's a benefit of that. And again, that is a form of it turning into creativity. So that's for the people who might have been doing, you know, going about their path, but they didn't, you know, they might have overshot what they were trying to do. You know, then there's other people who already were involved in their creativity, but now they're gonna have new ideas of making that creativity more potent. AKA, you know, you've been creating music for years, but now this is a chance for you to get even deeper into your songwriting or your production or whatever it is, because you're connecting back to what inspired you in the first place when you first had that dream to do music. Now it's like, oh damn, I actually can go way deeper into my mind and subconscious to get to some, you know, even more creativity out of me, even more, you know what I'm saying? So again, if you do any creative attribute, this is a good time to invest time into you know, spending time with your craft and being able to communicate your, you know, what's going on internally outwardly and give it to people and stuff like that. So especially if you've been nervous to put your stuff out, you know, this time period might make you question yourself even more. But don't question keep in mind, you know, you're questioning yourself more, but you know, regardless, you got to put it out. So don't let the retrograde throw you off in that manner where you turn, you know, you develop a certain pattern of second guessing yourself and doubting yourself. Don't let the retrograde turn you, you know, lead you that way. That's going to be more on the lower octave of this energy, where you might start planting bad seeds. Bad seeds are going to look like you kind of seeing like, damn, you kind of wanting to go with shortcuts, or you repeating patterns that didn't work in the past, thinking that you're gonna get somewhere faster. You know what I'm saying? You have to really be responsible with your time at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So don't develop delusion based upon, and again, delusion could look like you just being completely engulfed in self-doubt and you saying, damn, I was never able to, I was never gonna get where I wanted to go, and start talking to yourself negatively in that manner, where you starting to go against yourself and you starting to tear yourself down from an internal aspect. That's gonna look like, and again, that could be you just paying too much attention to what's going on is outside of you, instead of digging deeper and reflecting on your truth and stuff like that. Because again, you might be in a hostile environment where nobody is there to really nurture you and water your seeds and encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And you got to look at it as, you know, at some point I put myself in this position, so it's my responsibility and to get myself out of that. And that's a form of self-love. You got to love yourself enough to say, I'm gonna pull myself out of these trenches. Even if my whole block don't believe in what I'm trying to do, I'm gonna make it so I get the resources to get up out of this block, because I love myself enough to move somewhere where I can, if I ain't got nobody around me, I can plant a seed in the ground and attract others who gonna believe in my vision, because I believe in me so much and I got so much passion for what I'm doing, and I see it and I'm making it make sense. So it's like, again, do that. Don't do the bad seeds, which is going to look like developing an even thicker layer of escapism based upon you not getting the results you want. You not seeing it come to fruition, and you not taking the time to actually put in the subconscious shadow work to develop a better dream, imagination, or creative way of getting there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So we have to really take authority on that manner. Now, talking about some of these other planets, I just spent a whole hour talking about just that one aspect. But I mean, there was a couple in there, but for the most part, we got what is it? No, not Mars. We got Mercury. I think Mercury just got into Leo. So when it comes to how we think, how we speak, what we communicate about, and our ability to analyze, this is going to be in the Leo space of expression. So we have to now really speak from our heart, speak with conviction, and express what it is through the throat chakra, what we believe, you know what I'm saying, what we see. You know, even creativity. This is one of those potent times for creativity, where honestly, if you really take the time to invest in your craft and whatever you do, you could produce some of your best work at the moment, or at least start the production of it. And again, it's not to say you're gonna get rich overnight. It's not to say it's gonna take, you know, it's gonna be something you could do in a night, you know what I'm saying? Not to say it's gonna be something, anything, you know what I'm saying? But this is just one of those times where you want to take those things that are creative about you, that you love and that you're passionate about. You want to take those things extremely serious at the moment. And keep in mind too, we got Venus in no, not Venus, we got Mars itself in Taurus. So everything regarding our passions, we need to really understand the value of our passions, not only what they're worth, but what they mean to us. And we have to invest in, we have to really value our own passion, and we have to treat that in with the right amount of respect and dignity, because that's kind of what Taurus energy is all about. Respect, self-respect, self-esteem, dignity, value. You have to really value and honor your passions, right? Now your passion is going to go through a learning process, though. As Mercury goes deeper into Leo, the learning process is going to be, how do you communicate and express that value? You know what I'm saying? And if you would really take the time to dig deep when it comes to your passions and keep those things consistent, then you're going to have, not only is you going to have the way to express it to make it look fascinating, but you're going to have the actual value behind it to support and gain the support of others, and actually be, you know, people going to deem you as valuable. Shout out to Blaze and Mello. He said, for real, creativity flows smooth right now for some reason. Right. And it's only flowing smooth for those who are willing to be honest with themselves, man. Because if y'all remember back in Gemini season, I was saying that there was a certain transit that was going on, and it was all about honesty. It was all about truth, and really being true to yourself, and how people who live and thrive off of telling lies and lie about themselves, and can't really see themselves for who they are, Not so much, oh, you're gonna be exposed, because that's how the cookie cutter astrology channels be talking. We're like, oh, you're gonna be exposed. It really don't happen like that. It'd be an internal thing where sometimes it'd be internal. Sometimes you really do get exposed, but it'd be a thing where you would just start to see certain things in your life slow up. And what it is because it's not a good flow of energy that you're doing. You know, you got to keep in mind, like when we talk about astrology being a tool, it's about knowing the wave so that you can ride the current, right? Of course, but you got to understand everything about life is it's all about flow. You know what I'm saying? Even like your blood flow, whenever you got some kind of illness, it's because there's a clot somewhere. Things aren't flowing, whether it be air, your actual blood, or you know, saying certain things are trying to pass through that they can't. And that's why even down when it comes to health, inflammation is so much of a problem. And why a lot of the foods that we eat cause inflammation in areas of our body and our, you know, that we're not aware of, because it may not be on the outside, you know what I'm saying? But we have to monitor these things, and we have to do things to alleviate this pressure. And you know what I'm saying? Even somebody was talking about the nature of muscles and stuff, like, and how we have to literally remind ourselves to relieve tension in the body and stuff like that. How it's more of a nature thing to be clenched. And I think that might be something that developed over time based upon the different, just everybody isn't it everybody's going through stress. You know, everybody's stressed out. You know, if you really think about it, you know, we a lot of time it's crazy, because one thing I do want for the generations now and moving forward is to take a lot more, you know, pay a lot more attention to the kids. Because, you know, looking back and hearing the stories from Gen X and shit like that, it's like, damn, yo, you start to realize, like, a lot of our parents and our parents, man, like, as children, they were extremely neglected and treated in ways that made them who they are, which are strong individuals. But, you know, now more than ever, you should really understand what it really does to a child to have to deal with some of those levels of stress. You know what I'm saying? And then I think that's even the reason why now you look at the children, and even children these days, you know what I'm saying? A kid could be 12, 11 years old, and they're dealing with so much more stress just based upon where the world is right now and what they're aware of. You know, and that's the one thing, every generation that we go through, the children are more and more aware, and we have to be able to you know, be able to kind of peep that and alleviate stress from some of these younger individuals so that they can be who they are without, you know, because all that stress, it leads to trauma. That trauma leads to, again, deep rooted issues that turn into other demons later on. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Julian Spaz. He said, closer the source, clear the stream, and make sure turmeric is in our diet. Anti-inflammatory. Real shit. Real shit. Real shit. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that turmeric. Shout out to Saint Uno. He said, I forgot the line he said in his song. Shout out to Saint Uno, Body Armor of God. Check out that album. He said the Hanged Empress. He said body scan meditation is lit. He said, I'll play those for my kids sometimes when they can't sleep. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, that's kind of like just something, you know, more of a personal wish for the world. Is like, yo, like, let's take more, you know, take into account more about what's going on with the kids. Because, you know, they be dealing with shit that we don't see. And I know growing up, my own shit, I was like, damn, my parents don't see this and stuff like that. And me understanding where they was at, it's like, damn, okay, well, you know, it come from them being in a place where as children they had, you know, a lot of mixing up a drink with the turmeric. Yeah, that's what it is. Shout out Veronica. Shout out Saint Uno, man. Shout out to everybody, man. But real shit. So, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. But right now, really invest in value, you know, when it comes to Venus, not Venus, Mars into Mars and Taurus, and Mercury as it makes its way further into Leo, you know, expressing those things, speaking up, speaking with your chest type shit, speaking with conviction. Also, and then Venus eventually will get into Leo too. So that's going to be an added emphasis on that energy. So, moving on though. So we got, you know, we talked about Mercury going into Leo. We got, there's another planet switching positions. I think it is, I want to say, yeah, Venus is currently in, still in Cancer. Mercury, damn, what was it? What planet is switching signs at the moment? I forgot. You see Mercury, Mars in Taurus, Venus in Cancer, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer. No, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Gemini. We got Saturn. Or maybe that's it. Maybe I'm tripping. I might be tripping at the moment. I think I was just thinking of the Neptune retrograde shit. But with the Moon in Gemini though, so again, these are all things regarding our ability to speak up. And the moon is going to be making a sextile to Mercury itself. So opportunities for us to feel more comfortable about what we have to say and maybe even what's on our mind. You know, really, you know, give your creativity some time these next couple days. Moon is squaring Saturn retrograde. So we're kind of dealing with the feeling, like I was saying, if you haven't kind of, you might not know how to feel about what you think about past decisions you made. And this just calls for reflection on certain decisions you made and maybe why you chose that. Like, why do you choose to escape through these mediums and stuff like that? Why do you choose to do this instead of this other thing that you claim to want to move in a direction of? You know what I'm saying? So many times, like I said before, we create our own hypocrisy, and that sun and moon misalignment is the reason why we kind of make mistakes and stuff like that. So we have to take that into account. We also have the opportunity to think through mistakes and be a little more emotionally honest about the mistake, because the moon being in Gemini, it lightens the mood entirely. So this be the time where you might want to ask yourself some of the harder questions, because you'll chances are you'll have a better way of dealing with it on an emotional level. You know, now if you got a heavy amount of water energies and stuff like that, you might still feel uncomfortable. But again, during Cancer season, you know, you want to pay just as much as attention to the things that make you uncomfortable as the things that make you comfortable, because the uncomfortability, you got to really, you know, this is the time to use cardinal water to get comfortable with uncomfortable things, and really dive into why that's an insecurity. Why is that hard for you to digest? Why is that hard for you to feel? Because that's a lot of times with cancers, it's like they push off energy because they don't want to feel it. Goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of the live too, like when it comes to just getting things out of you, you know, expressing things because you don't need to let it sit. So a lot of times when we get hit with something that triggers an insecurity or something that's uncomfortable for us, we want to dump it off on some Cancer shit without being aware of, like, wait, hold on, like, what am I even going through at the moment that's creating this disgruntled energy? And is there a way I can initiate a new way to feel about it and deal with these emotions that won't, you know, that won't look like me lashing out on others, or won't look like me making something personal for it to become someone else's problem? You know what I'm saying? So that's something to take into account. And this is all preparation for the new moon in Cancer, which is going to be a whole new way of feeling about our comfort zone. Whether we realize, okay, I need to expand this, or you know, have I, you know, been in a space where I need to, and by expansion, I mean understanding that, you know, you might be comfortable at the moment, but, you know, let me take this and go to the next level with it. You know what I'm saying? This might be something that I'm dealing with on an emotional level, but let me take that to the, you know, or it might be something I'm uncomfortable to do at the moment. How much of my action, you know, how much have I been denying myself or keeping myself away from growth, from staying in this little zone? And then there's, okay, I need to expand this. I need to take this to the next level where I'm allowing myself to indulge in being extremely uncomfortable, so that I can now develop a new layer to this previous zone. You know what I'm saying? Just expanding it, making it bigger. Or it's going to be, you know, those who kind of on the other end of things, is going to be you know, new feelings regarding things that, because it's like you're all around, you're going to be developing new feelings about what once was comfortable. It's just a matter of if you're going to embrace that uncomfortability, or is it going to draw you more inward to be like, you know what, no, let me retract myself. And if you know, retracting sometimes is necessary, but if you retract yourself too much, you close yourself off, and you don't develop the thick skin or the confidence to, you know, stand tall and express yourself when Leo comes around. You know, Cancer energy is more so about healing, but healing doesn't mean retreat. You know what I'm saying? Healing doesn't mean you have to completely hide. A lot of times the best healing is done when you're actually actively using the thing. Think of what is it? Physical, what is it? Physical, damn, what is it called? Y'all know when say you injure a leg or something like that, and you got to go through the rehabilitation of it. Physical, I forgot what it was, but y'all know what I'm talking about, where it's like you're trying to recover something, but you're actively on it to build up the strength of it. Physical therapy, that's what it is. So you got an injury, and you know what I'm saying, when you're healing something, you're actively using it so that you can get stronger with it, and then it becomes something that now, boom, you know what I'm saying? Therapy. Thank you, appreciate you. Yeah, physical therapy. So, and then again, like, and even beyond physical therapy, a lot of us right now kind of doing somewhat of a internal therapy with ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And that takes you just being a certain level of honest with yourself. You know, honesty is kind of the underlying theme right now. It's like the deeper you can be honest with yourself, the more results you'll come to, you know, the more results will come from that, because you'll be able to make better decisions from a way better space. And boom, you know what I'm saying, that'll be more alignment with you. You know, that's part of you getting your sun and moon on the same page, so that the decisions you make now, again, it won't have to be a question of was that the right one or the wrong one. It'll be one that you was aligned with. So it'll turn into your life, you know, again, certain things falling into place, because there was no question of if it would or wouldn't. You walked in your alignment, so you believed in yourself enough to take that step, and you know, boom, you know, that's how it goes. So let me see. Yeah, moon sextile and Chiron, we talked about that. Opportunities for you to think through mistakes and how you feel about them a little more clearly. Also moon sextile in the north node, so opportunities to start to have your spiritual path on your mind, and new ways to think about it that are less that not so emotional. You know what I'm saying? It might still be emotional, you'll feel some kind of way about it, but you'll be able to think through it with more of air qualities, you know. And think about it like this: that's what we supposed to be looking at it through the lens of, not so much like too much watery. You know, right now the moon itself is in air. Now the sun is in Cancer, so how we act on it needs to look watery, but how we feeling about it right now, and when we're reflecting on things, we need to kind of keep things more so in an air-like space, where we're looking at the facts and we're communicating, if not to others, with ourselves about what we are, you know, paying attention to, or what we're seeing. And then we could develop, you know, when we're making a decision on it, and when we're acting on it, I should say, and we're actually acting in that thing, then we can put the water into it, where, okay, well, this is what I've come to the conclusion of. Okay, I might not feel comfortable with it, but let me act as if I can make it comfortable, you know. And that's that cardinal water at play. And then again, yeah, easing into the new moon, that's kind of what these next couple of days is all about. Reflection, taking the time to kind of speak up with yourself, or speak with others, communicating with others and letting others know, you know what I'm saying, and just be open for communication. If you're around others that you can have those conversations with, if you having others that you can't really have private conversations with, then, you know, again, you might want to just keep it to yourself, and that's fine too. But just as long as you're thinking about it and you're putting all the ideas out there for you to kind of jump in and speculate, and you're willing to kind of take in other ideas as possibilities to decipher whether or not that's something you should listen to, or maybe that's something you should put to the side and reject. Yeah. So I think that's about it. You know what I'm saying? We talked about what's in Aries. We talked about what's in Taurus. Oh yeah, Uranus and Taurus, and Jupiter and Gemini. So moon conjunct Jupiter. So that's going to be you know, expanding your feelings about your ideas in that area of life, you know, expanding on those feelings and ideas. So again, a lot of reflection, a lot of things going on our mind. Hopefully you've been already investing your time into the right things, so that you won't be too scattered, you know. But this is the time you want to reflect, you want to write in your journal, and write some things out, write ideas out, so that you can, you know, better, you know, have some more clarity. You know, I'm recommending meditation for this time too, because we really need to have that clarity that mental clarity to decide and have somewhat of a sober mind when we are approaching some of these things. Yeah, and then we got Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus been in Taurus for a while, and it's all about our individuality. It's not really making no direct alignment to the moon, but it will eventually start to square what is it? Leo, Mercury and Leo. So with Mercury and Leo, it's going to be learning our individual voice in the matter. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of our individual voice is being developed at this time too. And there was something else I was going to say about I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, just preparing. Yeah, so not only this new moon in Cancer, you got to think of it as you're developing that yeah, everybody's pretty much expanding their comfort zone in a nutshell. You know, even if you're trying to be in denial about it, even that is going to just thrust you deeper into uncomfortability, to the point where, again, you either dealt with that uncomfortability by getting comfortable, or, you know, you didn't, and you just are now, you know, because y'all know when it comes to Cancer energy and that uncomfortability, if you don't address it, you become smaller and smaller and smaller, to where you lose your sense of self for real. So you got to think about it like that. Like, you either gonna fulfill this space with those feelings that's gonna get you comfortable, or you're gonna you're gonna shrink yourself to the point where you are no longer, you're basically just walking through the motions and stuff like that. And you'll manifest things that don't look like things you really even want or things you can use, versus the person who gets comfortable in that new skin that they're in, that authenticity and opening their heart, and they are vulnerable with themselves, but go through that vulnerable space to develop strength. Y'all gonna be the ones who's able to move and operate the way y'all want to. And then when that next full moon in Capricorn comes in, you really are gonna be satisfied with your status at that moment. And you're not only going to be satisfied with it, you're going to be able to have a network and associates that are engaged with you and allow you to operate that position, versus the other people who, like, let's say you got smaller and smaller, you being unsatisfied with the full moon in Capricorn, cusp in Aquarius. Not only will you not have the network, you won't have a support and associations, associates around you, or a community that can support what you got going on. Therefore, that position that you're trying to claim or be in, you're not qualified for it. It's going to be like a lot of that energy where you're not qualified for those dreams and imaginations you was trying to get off the ground. You know what I'm saying? People are going to start to have a certain, you know, this person's just not qualified for that. You know, this person's just not, it's not it. Something about it. I just don't see you in that position. And that's going to be a certain fall short that kind of really does damage your status and you know, your reputation in a way. And that's going to make it difficult for Leo season, because when you're trying to talk your shit in Leo season with everybody else, people going to be like, but ain't you that person that wasn't qualified? You know what I'm saying? Versus you getting into this comfort zone. Now, Leo come around, boom, you got everything to say. You know what I'm saying? You can get it all off. You know what I'm saying? Now, and not only is you getting it off, you are not only seen in that position, but you're respected in that position. Because it's like, oh yeah, no, this person finally speaking up and talking their shit. Now, what was it? Yeah. That's the full moon. Yeah, talk about the full moon. Yeah, preparing for that new moon. And then that's another thing too. Behind all this is the stellium that's going to be in Leo. And so just prepare for that. Again, a lot of people talking, being flashing, want to show things. Just right now, focus on getting those pieces of yourself together on an internal level, so that when it does come time for that Leo energy, that Leo stellium, you can be secure on stage. You know, think of it in terms of that. You want to be secure on stage. You don't want to be in no energy where you feel like you ain't quite got it all together. Even if you feel like you ain't got it together, start developing those feelings that's going to support you having it together. You know, easier said than done though. But yeah, I think that's about it. You know, we talked about Cancer, talked about Leo, talked about, you know, Virgo, nothing in Virgo, Libra. Only thing in Virgo and Libra is Lilith dancing between two. So just keep that in mind. Libra, then we talked about Scorpio, nothing in Scorpio, nothing in Sag, nothing in Cap. You know, Cap got the Aquarius, Pisces, Saturn, and Neptune. I think we got about everything. And then Aries, yeah. So I think that's about everything. But appreciate y'all sliding through. You know what I'm saying? This has been a wonderful time. I appreciate it every time. And shout out to the new people who just slid through and hit that subscribe button and hit that like button and all that good stuff, so that the message can spread, the channel can grow, and we can keep on building, doing what we do. Yeah, 717 conference. Yo, less than 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all go in the description. I'm gonna have all the links for the tickets, and if you still want to perform or be a speaker, there's going to be an opportunity for you. You know, you can hit the volunteer form to get involved with that. Any questions, or if you want to book a reading with me, please don't hesitate to hit me up at 717conference.info@gmail.com. I'm getting my website up together, you know what I'm saying? That's getting all refurbished and things like that, so y'all have a more simple way to reach me and all that. What else going on? Yep, Equinox 3 is now out, so go ahead, hit the it's on all streaming platforms, so y'all can type in my name, Dave B, Equinox 3. Go ahead, support the tape. If you're looking to give a donation and all that, I'll put the links to my Cash App and all that good stuff down below, or you can purchase the album directly from Bandcamp, and the link will be below as well for that. What else? Is that everything? Yeah. Oh yeah, dropping a music video for the intro today, so be on the lookout for that. But like I said, much love. Thank y'all for checking out the tape in the first place, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.